The Schoonjils are back, and you know what we're doing today, Carmine. We're crunching the numbers.
You got all this
Right.
energy.
That's right. Before we start, though, forgot to do something. The most important part.
What happened?
CTN2, Crunching the Numbers Part 2, and we're going to start recording. What yo? Sponsored by nobody, but Carmine he does love his Dunkin'. Let me just make sure the audio is good. Sponsored by nobody. All right. So, how's your gabagool today, cuz? It's good?
I didn't have it yet, but maybe tonight I'm going to have some gabagool.
Listen, I'm going to start off by saying this, Carmine. First and foremost, thank you for returning.
Yeah.
A lot of people said, oh, Rocco's starting another venture. This guy, he's got a kid on the way. He's doing so many things. Now's the worst time to be doing this. And in a way, they are right. And in a way, they also doubted me. And they said, you will not do another episode of Crunching the Numbers.
That's what they said?
That's what they said, bro.
Wow.
I'm not going to mention no names, but you know some of these people.
Really?
You're not going to do another episode. It's good while it lasted. Carmine knows his stuff, but I don't see this going anywhere.
Okay.
Respectfully. And I said, I'm back, baby.
Yeah.
I'm back, baby. So episode 2, we're not going anywhere unless there's an emergency situation in life. But this is yet another episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the clips from the first episode, per se. I had a lot of fun. Carmine's here again. This is the permanent co-host. Nobody better to do it than Carmine himself. And we're going to win these people some fantasy football championships.
Yeah.
Let's just be real
100%.
Here.
That's why we're here.
Why are we here today, Carmine? Why?
We're going to help them draft. We're going to help them draft better.
So this is how you can draft not the perfect team, but a team that will put you in a good position in order to compete in your fantasy league. And then throughout the year, we're going to help them with waiver wire transactions.
Yep, waiver wire. I'll help them with daily fantasy too if they like that as well.
Yeah, daily fantasy is a segment that you're going to take over. I think I'm very intrigued because I never partake in daily fantasy. And when I did, I absolutely got cooked in every tournament I was in.
Oh, you win tournaments. That's why.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm definitely following you. I want to give people a quick recap because we also do sports betting.
Yeah. Okay.
So from the last episode, which was 2 Tuesdays from today, Carmine has a record of 3-0. So this guy gives out plays like it's Christmas. Once or twice a year.
Yeah.
But no, he has a method to this madness. That's why he is 3-0. He's got the hex on him for sure. I know a lot of people getting the malocchio. But if you don't want to be a hater,
I got this right here.
If you don't want to be a hater and you actually want to support, then you might as well tail his picks because he is 3-0. I am currently 4-4 with 8 plays, but I am down a unit. Yeah. So if you started with all my picks, you'll be down a unit. Yeah. Meaning, hypothetically, we started with $100. You'll be down $10 with me. That's what you'll be up 1 unit with Carmine's bets. Yeah. So again, Carmine, I learned what kind of bettor he is. He's like a feel good, very likely a very high chance of winning kind of bettor. He doesn't risk his money big time like that. You're not gonna see the plus hundreds, plus 200s bets with Carmine. With me though, if you want to have fun and you want to sweat, jump on the Rocco.
And if you need a miracle too, you got to go with Rocco. But like cheering for home runs, right?
I'm telling you, I do now have a lock. Now that I think of it,
what is it?
I'll give it at the end of the.
What sport?
It's football. It's football, and it's not even today.
It's Georgia versus Clemson.
I feel so strongly about this bet.
Georgia Clemson game?
No. It's NFL.
Okay.
But before we get into anything, we're going to do the whole rundown today.
Okay.
We'll do a whole fire sale on all these players, how things are, outlook on some of these players, how we feel about them now. Some recent news broke out, and I guess we'll start off with that. Go ahead, Carmine. Let's do this.
All right, so the first recent news that came out was that A.J. Dillon is going to be on season-ending IR, which basically means that we're going to get an uptick in usage for Josh Jacobs. He's going to be getting more rushing attempts easily. A.J. Dillon wouldn't really be on the field to get pass receptions. I mean, he would get some receptions here and there just to keep the defense honest and keep them guessing. But this basically means that Josh Jacobs is going to have like a full workload to work with. And another uptick is Marshawn Lloyd. He's the rookie that the Green Bay Packers drafted, I believe, in round 4 or 5. He's going to be a good late round pick to have now. I do think Marshawn Lloyd's going to be getting worked into the rotation here and there. And, God forbid something were to happen to Josh Jacobs. He suffers an injury or he's limited some games, I think Marshawn Lloyd could be a good fantasy option to have. So I would definitely try to draft Marshawn Lloyd late in drafts. And Josh Jacobs is gonna get.
Where's his value? How much does his value go up now?
I'd say it goes up somewhat. Yeah,
you bump him up around.
No, he was already going up in round. He was already going in round 2, 2-ish, 3-ish. I would say he goes up probably. He's gonna get picked 3 or 4 picks earlier than he was yesterday. I would say.
Okay.
But he's gonna get like I said, he's gonna get the goal line carries now. AJ Dillon for sure is out of there, right?
Season ending. That's crazy.
Season ending. Yes, it's season ending. So, Josh Jacobs is 150% going to be getting those goal line carries now because A.J. Dillon could have took those goal line carries. That's not going to happen anymore, right? They're not going to give Marshawn Lloyd those goal line carries. Josh Jacobs is going to get those goal line carries. And Josh Jacobs is also going to be on the field for third down as well. So, he's going to go up somewhat.
Will you draft Josh Jacobs?
It depends if the price is right. You know me, I like drafting my wide receivers.
Yeah.
My thing with running backs is I feel like they get hurt. They're getting tackled by... They're not just getting tackled by anyone on the field, right? The running backs are getting tackled by 300-pound defensive tackles, 270-pound defensive ends, 240-pound linebackers, right? Wide receivers, on the other hand, they're getting tackled by the cornerbacks who are like 190 pounds. So there's like a big difference on why the running backs always get hurt compared to the receivers. But I would rather always go wide receiver for sure.
Not to talk too much about Josh Jacobs, but just purely going off of what I saw last year from Josh Jacobs does not make me excited at all for what he can do this year. But with that being said, especially right now, the opportunity will be there for him. So he doesn't have to be great.
No.
He just has to be solid, and he'll be worth a third, maybe late second round pick.
Right. Yeah, right. And even like a mid-second I'd see now, honestly, because like I kind of rate him the same as I would say like Isaiah Pacheco, who I really like a lot this year too.
Wow.
I like Pacheco
You put them
a lot.
on the same...
Yeah, I would think so. I think they're both really good picks, right?
Okay.
So, like I really think that he's a good pick. I just like having my receivers more.
Yeah.
It's just like a preference thing.
Oh, I'm going receiver crazy this year.
Yeah, I love my receivers.
I already feel it.
Yeah.
So we're going to answer some questions as we go.
Go ahead.
Here.
Yeah. I like
Somebody said, Jacob, he said, should I try to trade Tajay Spears for Jerome Ford? My starting running backs are Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker.
So he has Tajay Spears.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get who? Jerome Ford?
He's trying to get Jerome Ford.
Here's
Tony Pollard is the 1A there, right?
Yes, exactly. Here's the thing, though. I really like Tajay Spears. I had him last year in my fantasy league. He's really, really... He has the juice. Let's just say that. Like, he's very shifty. He's very fast. I would kind of keep Tajay Spears. I want to see how he does on his second year. He's going to get more opportunities now to showcase his abilities. Last year, he never really had a chance to shine because, Derrick Henry, they're always going to give him the mass amount of rushing attempts. But Tajay Spears, when he had the chance to catch the ball on screens and short passes, he showed what he's worth. So I think I would want to see what Tajay Spears does over Jerome Ford for sure.
But the only thing is, with Jerome Ford, he's getting
the first 6 weeks. But
you're getting running back, not one, but I want to say he is. Hold on, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Jerome Ford will be the lead back there, right? There's no competition for his role.
Well, there's...
All right, what?
So they're not going to give him workhorse.
7 to 10 carries difference between him and so the workload will be there for Jerome Ford. Tajay Spears is more of a wait and see what kind of role he's going to have in that offense. But like you said, he's electric.
But this isn't daily fantasy sports though.
Like, right.
This is a marathon. This is not a sprint.
Right.
I want the higher upside for now.
If you have the depth in your lineup, then make the move. You know, if not, if you need a spot, you're gonna want to start Jerome Ford over Tajay Spears right now.
For now, yes.
Yeah.
But this is a marathon. This is not a sprint.
Yeah, it depends what your roster looks like.
Yeah.
One more question before we get into our next topic. Do I start Jaden Daniels or Brock Purdy?
So this is...
Which Jaden Daniels' value has... The preseason has only made his value go way up.
Right now, I think it's still too early to tell. But I really like Jaden Daniels. I would probably start him because of the rushing upside. Because Jaden Daniels could seriously go for like 50, 60 rushing yards every game. That's how like good he is with his feet.
I saw his sportsbook line was like 540 rushing yards on the year. Mm-hmm. So, bro, to get that out of a quarterback, that's 54 fantasy points. Yeah. And that's just
off rushing.
That's what the books are predicting.
And that's what's so good about having, like, just to reiterate what his question is, that's what's so good about having rushing quarterbacks, right? Because they could theoretically have a terrible, terrible game, but they could still get there with their fantasy points with their legs, right? And that's why it's really, really good to have like a rushing quarterback in those standard fantasy leagues. So yeah, I would probably go Jayden Daniels. Okay. He can even score touchdowns as well too.
I would too. Week 1, week 2, week 3. I know Purdy's the safe pick, but he's never, to me, he's never been a quarterback I even
he's not going to
consider starting unless it's a stream start.
Yeah,
you know? Start Daniels, bro. Have fun with it. It's your first week. Yeah. You know, hopefully you have some. There's the most upside is going to be Jayden Daniels. About after last episode, George Pickens.
Oh, George Pickens.
What's the stat line that you're going crazy about?
All right. So I'm going to double down now on my George Pickens pick, right? Because I didn't sell you, supposedly, from that video. You were like, I don't know. I'll make you have him in your league and stuff. Okay, no problem. So let me take out my phone for you, sir. Okay. Because I have my stats saved
what
here
you got
for you.
Me?
Okay. Now, Rocco, could you agree to me, right? Now that George Pickens is going to be the number 1 wide receiver for...
No Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, no Brandon Ayuk.
We didn't know this information last time.
Exactly. All right. Now, would you agree that with George Pickens now being the number 1 wide receiver in Pittsburgh, he's going to get roughly around 8 targets every game?
He should.
He should get 8 targets every game, right?
Comfortably get 8 targets, yes.
Okay. 8 targets every game. Okay. So George Pickens was targeted 8 times, 4 times last year. Okay? Would you like to hear a stat line for those 4 games?
Yes.
Against the Browns, he got targeted 10 times, 4 receptions, 127 yards, and 1 touchdown.
Okay.
Against the Ravens, good defense, 6 receptions, 130 yards, 1 touchdown off 10 targets. Against the Rams, he got targeted 8 times, 5 receptions, 107 yards. Against the Seattle Seahawks, got targeted 9 times, 7 receptions, 131 yards. So every game, he was targeted at least 8 times. He broke 100 yards.
Yeah.
So, do you think George Pickens is a good pick now?
What spot do you take him?
I'm looking to grab him.
Do you reach and go in the 4th?
Yes, I could. I have no problem. If Terry McLaurin is not there, if T. Higgins is not there, yes, I absolutely go George Pickens 4th round. I have no problem doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you sold me on George Pickens. I'm not going to lie. Because that was one that I wasn't looking in preseason up till now. If the targets are going to be there, awesome value. Not great value. Awesome value pick. If he is there for me, hopefully I'll have the chance to capitalize and take him. But my one thing is, and I'll say this, whether it's Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, you don't know how many times these guys are going to throw the ball.
It's going to, like I said, Kenny Pickett didn't throw the ball 1,000 times either last year, right?
Right.
I am 1,000% positive Josh Fields and Russell Wilson are better quarterbacks than Kenny. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about a different sport. Sorry about that. I'm 1,000% positive Russell Wilson and Justin Fields is better than Kenny Pickett. 1,000% positive. Pickens is going to get targeted 8 times a game, for sure. For sure.
But you have to realize, too, don't defenses know this? Okay, they have just George Pickens. So somebody else is going to have to step up. Okay, Pat Fryermuth, we know what he can do. Yeah. Solid tight end, late round, you could get him. Good value. But then who else is there? Who can help support George Pickens so he's not getting coverage over the top, underneath? Like, you know what I mean?
But here's the thing, though. He's going to get those targets. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. What matters is he's getting those targets. Those games that I stated, those games were the games that Deontay Johnson was primarily missing, too. Deontay Johnson, three of the past 4 years was targeted over 140 times. So that's 140 targets leaving that offense.
Yeah, you're right.
So George Pickens is going to be getting targeted more heavily, and he's going to be having those big years. And those games that he had, those were against good defenses, okay? Yes. The Cleveland Browns were one of the best defenses in the league last year.
Yeah.
The Ravens were one of the best defenses in the league last year. He was doing it against very good defenses, okay? So, yeah, I think George Pickens...
You just got to hope Russell Wilson's got time to throw. I mean, that O-line has always been abysmal.
I think you're worrying too much about the quarterback play. We're not
I'm a Giants fan, bro.
Yeah.
You can't blame
him. We're not in the 90s no more, right? So, I
mean, Tomlin's a great coach, so he'll find a way, you know?
We're not in the 90s no more. You could coexist with mediocre quarterback play now for fantasy wide receivers.
Yeah.
So, I really think George Pickens is a great pick. And, I have T. Higgins and Terry McLaurin a tad bit ahead because, they showed it more. But I definitely think George Pickens could be league winning upside. That's how big I am on him.
Okay. Is there any other breaking news that we should cover at the moment that's fantasy worthy, I should say?
Breaking news. Let me see. I think something happened yesterday. What happened yesterday? Hold up. Let me just ring a bell.
Because if not, I got a couple players that I definitely want to talk about.
Hold up. Something happened yesterday. I just can't. It's not ringing a bell. Oh, last week, Dotson.
Jahan Dotson
to the Eagles. So yeah, that's big news for Terry McLaurin, right? That's a big uptick on what his target share should be weekly now, right? He has a legitimate opportunity to lead the league in targets. Now, obviously, CeeDee Lamb is probably the early favorite to lead the league in targets, along with Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase. But Terry McLaurin is a sneaky bet to lead the league in targets. He's going to easily get that 25% target share. And, yeah, I definitely think Terry McLaurin is due for a career year. This is a big difference, a big upgrade from Sam Howell now, right? Now we have a quarterback that could drive the ball downfield, is accurate, and could do it with his legs as well, right? He could roll out of the pocket, extend plays, and that's when defenses struggle the most, right? When receivers have a chance to extend plays and start doing the scramble drills. Yeah. So, yeah, I think Terry McLaurin.
The value's insane. Yeah, the value's insane. He's 50th, going overall 50th right now.
Well, people are starting to smarten up with that. So, yeah.
I mean, a lot of these guys, another guy I want to get into that we didn't cover last time, Mike Evans.
Right.
How do you feel about Mike Evans going into this year?
I feel like he's just boring to me. Mike Evans is just a boring pick for me. Don't get me wrong, he's big. He's always good for a touchdown. And in standard leagues where it's not PPR, I like Mike Evans. But in a PPR league, Mike Evans is not really a PPR wide receiver that I kind of target. So I wouldn't really go for Mike Evans. I feel like I would rather draft the other wide receivers that go behind him. I know Nico Collins is behind him. I'd rather draft Nico Collins. I'm just not sold on Mike Evans. I feel like Baker Mayfield peaked on how he could play last year. I do not think he could play better than that.
Okay.
And I'm just not really sold on Mike Evans. I feel like he's a good standard play, but in PPR leagues, which we are in PPR leagues, I really don't really. He doesn't really move the needle for me.
Okay, we'll talk about two more wide receivers, then we're going to move over to running backs.
Okay.
And then towards the end of this, we're going to play a game where I'm going to give you a player.
Yeah.
You tell me which player you would rather have.
Okay.
What can we expect from Chris Olave this year?
Chris Olave, he's smooth, right? He's someone that you can count on weekly. He's going to be getting that lauded 25% target share. I definitely see that. Derek Carr, on the games that he was healthy, Chris Olave was getting his production. He was reaching his 80 yards. He was reaching his touchdowns. But once Derek Carr got injured and he couldn't really throw the ball deep anymore, the defenses kind of knew this, so they were all bunching up the box, and that's where Alvin Kamara got pretty much all of his production. If Derek Carr stays healthy, I'm not saying Derek Carr is this amazing quarterback, but if Derek Carr stays healthy, Chris Olave is a safe pick. I definitely see him, breaking the 12,050 mark. 1,250.
Yeah.
Imagine 12,000. Jesus.
12,000. Who's this guy got?
Jesus. Yeah. No.
So you could see him hitting 1,250.
1,250 mark. Yes, I see him hitting that 1,250 mark, and 8 touchdowns or so. I think Chris Olave is a good pick in the second.
Yeah, so
at the end of the second round.
At the end of the second round,
safe pick.
It's a safe pick. It's not the sexy pick, but it's a safe pick.
No, he's good though. Chris Olave is fine. He's not gonna bust. Not at all. To answer the hey yo. And to answer the other question, I would prefer Chris Olave over Mike Evans also because they're kind of going in the same range. I would prefer Chris Olave over Mike Evans for sure.
Okay. Yeah. And this is the last receiver I want to talk about because I do want to give people some drafting tips.
Okay.
And depending on where they are in their drafts, how they can go about their picks now and then later on. So this is going to be more of an insightful one, but we will cover a bunch of players as well.
Okay.
Jaylen Waddle.
Jaylen Waddle.
Is this his year? Best career year yet?
I think it's going to be kind of like what he did last year, honestly. I like Jaylen Waddle personally. Like, he's always going to get those 100. He's more of a PPR receiver, right? Like, I kind of like Jaylen Waddle more than Mike Evans in a PPR format. I played him in daily fantasy a lot. The games that Tyreek Hill was out, I played Jaylen Waddle. He produced for me. He caught like a big touchdown, had like a 60-yard touchdown. He broke the 100-yard mark, had like 9 receptions. I like Jaylen Waddle. He's a safe bet to have at least 7 receptions every game. So I like Jaylen Waddle.
Okay. Obviously, the only concern would be the volume, right? You got A-Chain there. You got Tyreek Hill, who's a monster in his own right. I shouldn't say the volume. I should say the upside. Yeah. Right. You kind of feel like that ceiling is limited. Right. To what Waddle can possibly do.
Yeah, the touchdowns is going to be kind of an issue because Tyreek Hill, even though he has like that small, 5'10" frame, he still gets those red zone targets and he still scores those touchdowns. Then again, he could score touchdowns from his own 20, right? Every time. But Jaylen Waddle is a safe pick. Let's put it that way. He's a safe pick. He's not going to let you down. He'll give you like those 14, 15 PPR points weekly. And you can't go wrong with it.
Okay, awesome. So before we go into running backs, this is something a lot of people always ask me, and I've seen a lot of comments. A lot of people have the 1 overall pick. Yeah. So if you have the number 1 overall pick, who are you drafting and why?
So there's like a lack of like workhorse running backs in the NFL now, right? There's like very few, maybe like 6, 7 of them on their team. So for that reason alone, I would probably draft Christian McCaffrey at number 1 and then go absolutely crazy on wide receiver from that moment on. If there's a tight end that falls to me late, that it's a good value, like a round 2 value, round or 2 later, I might draft a tight end, but I would go absolutely crazy on wide receiver as soon as I got that Christian McCaffrey pick.
Okay. Yeah. Fair. I mean, I agree with you. I feel like for that position itself, you know exactly what you're getting out of a running back like Christian McCaffrey. Yep. There's no question marks like there is with Bijan Robinson in the sense with Algiers' role. You don't know how many yards he's going to take, not yards, how many snaps he's taking away from Bijan himself. Christian McCaffrey, clear-cut, center point of that offense. Yep. He's great. People's concern is the RB1 or the number 1 overall fantasy player. In 1 year, the next year never winds up repeating.
That's stupid, though. Like,
you know what I mean? Like, so if we are crunching the numbers, in that sense, Christian McCaffrey wouldn't be the best pick there. If you're going based off of analytics, where it's like never really been done where the number 1 overall fantasy player repeats and goes number 1
but you don't need to be number 1 overall, though. Like, if you're like number 4 overall, that's still a good pick.
Yes.
As long as like your first pick doesn't bust.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, yo, you know that.
Hey, yo. You sound like the kids.
You sound like the kids.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh.
What's up, Mario?
What's up, Mariuzzo?
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about football, but American football.
Can I sit behind you guys?
Sure.
Yeah, he's got a guitar and everything. Yeah. You gonna sing us a song?
Oh, it's football season, football season, it's football season. I can't wait for the Cowboys to come in and win.
Wait, you're a Cowboys fan?
Yeah.
Oh, get out the room. Mario, come on, you're New York. You gotta be Giants or Jets.
You really a Cowboy fan?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's the football season, the Cowboys are in. They're gonna win, they're gonna win. Can't wait to take that ring away from who won last year? Chiefs. The Chiefs are gone. Yeah, did you see that commercial with the Snickers? The kid, he wrote check. The guy comes, he goes, who's the chefs? He fucked up. He wrote.
No, I didn't see that one. All right, Mario, give me 1 player that everybody should draft in their leagues.
I don't really know players.
Who's the best player on the Cowboys, you'd say? Troy Aikman, right?
Troy Aikman.
He's a good pick. Good pick.
Okay. Emmitt Smith.
Okay.
Emmitt Smith.
What is this, the 1998 draft?
It's the football season.
That's what it is.
All right. My pick?
Yeah.
To win the league? I like the Bills this year.
Okay. Who do you feel that's going to win this year Super Bowl that's going to make it all the way? Like a type of a throw the ball, win, and call it a day, and he's going to take it home. All 16 games, 16, 17 games?
No team's going undefeated this year, if that's what you're asking.
You don't think one team is going to go flying across?
Nah,
Didn't
not
the
this year.
Jets almost make it last year?
Hell no. Hell no.
The Giants almost
They went
made it
1-0.
last year?
They won the first game of the season.
The Cowboys went all the way. Well,
To the playoffs.
I had enough Cowboys talk.
Yeah.
Any fantasy advice before anything?
Save your money because you're going to lose.
Not if you listen to us.
Nah, come on, Mario. You got to trust us. You got to follow his picks. He's 3-0 right now.
3-0?
Yeah.
3 bets, 3 wins. I'm 4-4.
How much are you winning so far?
I think a unit, 1 unit.
Yeah, 1
What's
unit.
a unit?
His units are crazy though.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Unit like an apartment or unit like...
So like a unit is basically how much you're willing to bet for each bet. Like let's say if you're not really sure about a bet, you go a half unit. Or if it's like an all-in bet, you'll do like 2 or 3 units. That's what it is.
So are you guys excited for September 5th?
Yeah.
First game, Monday night.
Chiefs Ravens.
Yep,
Chiefs
absolutely.
Ravens, right?
And then next day we got the Eagles and the Packers in Brazil.
They're playing on a Tuesday now?
Friday. So on Thursday is going to be the Chiefs Ravens, and then Friday they're going to play in Brazil for the Eagles and Packers.
And then Monday it's the first Monday, the 7th.
Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
The 8th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I'll be...
No, it's the 9th.
The 9th.
September 9th, yeah.
9th. Yeah, Monday the 9th. That's right.
Are you doing a show that day?
No, it's set up for the San Gennaro Feast in New York City. So 9, 10, and then the 11 and the 12th is the beginning day of the feast, the first day.
That's it, baby.
And there'll be a lot of, I need to play the football teams this year.
You like the San Gennaro Feast?
Yeah. I mean, this year's gonna be big. I don't know my availability just because my son's gonna be.
It's going to be big?
Coming out.
Why is it gonna be big?
We'll open up the studio there, and it's like our soft.
Oh,
announcement.
you're opening it up that day?
Well, not that day, but that week is like a soft launch, so it will be open and available to public. I just don't know how much I'll be around.
Okay.
Are you excited?
Oh yeah, I'm
I
ecstatic.
cannot wait to go there and see all the shirts on display.
Oh yeah, baby.
And see all the merch.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
You know, by the way, I need a new shirt. So
Tell Sabino, take whatever you want. For real, go ahead, go take whatever you want. It's always nice for a nice cameo with Mariuzzo. Thank you, Bello.
Thank you, Mario.
Well, we got to cover some sports talk here.
Cover. I want to hear what you're gonna talk about. Y'all learn something.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, but you're gonna keep doing this. We gotta.
You watch Jimmy Kimmel's Cousin Sal. Cousin Sal is very big. Cousin Sal Iacono has his own podcast, Against All Odds. You should check it out. He talks about all the football games and all the football things. What's the questions? Get Mario out of the room?
Nah, well, yeah, the comments are going crazy. Mario, we love him. Get him out.
Let's go.
Would you? Because I want to get into running backs here
Yeah.
real quick. Would you keep Justin Jefferson at the 108 spot in a keeper league or Kyron Williams round 17? I feel like it's a no-brainer for me, but
Yeah,
go ahead, I'm
I'd
curious.
keep Jefferson.
Yeah.
Wait. Kyron Williams, he drafted Kyron Williams round 17?
He gets that pick. He loses that pick.
I'm saying, but repeat the question again.
In a keeper league,
Okay.
keep Justin Jefferson at the price of the 108
Okay.
or Kyron Williams round 17.
I would keep Kyron Williams.
Yeah, it's so obvious there.
Yeah.
Because you're getting a RB second round
Yeah.
running back value at the price of your 17th pick. That's
Yeah, exactly. How much keepers are you allowed to keep in that league? Because sometimes you'll have to keep 3 players, 4 players.
It doesn't say in that
Okay.
comment, but
All right, yeah, I would keep Kyron Williams for sure.
all right. So let's get into running backs. Mario, if you ever don't feel obligated to stay, but you're welcome to, but don't feel obligated. Is what I'm saying. No, because we're literally gonna talk about like football players now.
Well, maybe one of their names will pop up in my head and I'll be able to answer a question.
Okay, well, one of them is. There you go. So I do want to talk about Saquon Barkley on the Eagles this
Right.
year.
Uh-huh.
What can we expect? How do you feel about him?
I like Saquon Barkley a lot. You know, like in my mock drafts, if I have like a late first round pick, that'll be like my main target. I think Saquon Barkley is gonna lose some rushing touchdowns because you know that the
Jalen
brotherly
Hurts,
push,
yeah.
the brotherly push and stuff. But so Saquon Barkley last year, according to Pro Football Focus, was on the worst offensive line in the league, the New York Giants.
Yes, he was.
Now, according to Pro Football Focus, he's gonna be on the best offensive line
Which is why there's so much buzz around it, you know?
So Saquon Barkley is going to be in probably the best situation he's ever been in his career, right? And I do think Saquon Barkley has potential upside to be like the running back one for the year. I really do. Like, you know Saquon Barkley, he's good at the goal line, he's good at the red zone, great with the ball in his hands. Yeah, he's really a great pick.
I think so too. And I would take him if he fell to me at 12, which I am picking the 12 spot this year. I would gladly take him.
So here are some plays. These are the plays I would probably take before Saquon, but other than that, I'm taking Saquon. So obviously I would take McCaffrey, Bijan, and Breece Hall. Okay. Right? But after those three, I'm taking Saquon. So
in that order?
Yeah.
Like
the running backs.
Okay. Oh, running backs.
Yeah. And now for the receivers, I would take before Saquon, right, would be obviously, Chase, Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill.
Amon-Ra or no?
And Amon-Ra, yes.
Nobody else?
No one else. Right.
Okay.
So
So he would go in like the 9-10 spot.
Yeah.
Comfortably.
Yeah. I would take Saquon before Garrett Wilson, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, right now.
Well, yeah, I would love to get Saquon there. But
yeah.
Another running back, I have grown to love him even more after his move to the Ravens. Yeah. I think it's a perfect fit. You saw what Gus Edwards did with him last year.
Yeah.
I think Derrick Henry has a monster year again.
I mean, it's possible. We're gonna be talking PPR most parts. So Derrick Henry doesn't really move the needle for me. He's not really gonna be catching receptions. I feel like Justice Hill is gonna be taking a lot of work in that regard. I definitely like the fact though that he's gonna be with a rushing quarterback, and when you're with a rushing quarterback, usually the running back has an uptick in yards per carry. I mean, I do like Derrick Henry, but he's getting older now, so I'm not really going crazy for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it's not as sexy as it was, 2-3 years ago.
Exactly.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Chiefs running back Isaiah Pacheco.
I like Isaiah Pacheco a lot. Like he's gonna be getting like a workhorse workload now, right? So Jerick McKinnon is not there no more. Jerick McKinnon was pretty much their the third down back, and because he's not there, Isaiah Pacheco is going to be on the field now for passing downs. So he could be getting like 3 or 4 receptions a game along with his heavy carry usage. I think Isaiah Pacheco is kind of as good as a pick you could get in the second round. Like I'm kind of targeting him in the second round at this point.
How high?
Like mid-second round, I'm willing to draft. I'm willing to pull the plug. I'm willing to pull. Yeah, no, not pull the trigger. Yeah, I'm willing to pull.
I'm morto.
Yeah. He's done. I'm willing to pull the trigger on Isaiah Pacheco in the mid to second round for sure.
Okay, this is a guy that nobody really has been talking about, and I'm wondering why. Kenneth Walker.
Okay.
What do you like him?
Well, he's not like a sexy pick. He's playing for the Seahawks. They kind of are a team that really has no buzz right now. New coach. I like Kenneth Walker personally. I feel like he could bring fantasy value, even with Zach Charbonnet there. He's really good running between the numbers. He could break out a long run here and there. I like Kenneth Walker. I think where he's going right now is perfect value. Where he should be, yes. And I have no problem him being like my second running back or him being my first running back if I'm going heavy wide receiver.
Yeah, that's exactly what my follow-up question.
Yeah, I think Kenneth Walker's fine.
One guy who I absolutely love, I don't really understand why people are like throwing in the white flag with him this year, just because he had a really bad second half last year.
Right.
I really feel like you already know what I'm talking about here. Travis Etienne on the Jaguars.
Right. So from what I'm reading, they said that they're gonna be giving him more. We're good.
Yeah.
So from what I'm reading they're gonna be giving him more rotations, but in reality, like sure, he's not gonna be getting like that heavy workhorse load. However, he is going to be getting more high quality, carries, and I feel like Travis Etienne is a pretty good pick. They're going to be rotating Tank in on drives and stuff, but Travis Etienne is still going to be getting those goal line carries. He's still going to be getting those screens. Mm-hmm. He's going to still be active on the passing game. I think Travis Etienne's a good pick.
Yeah,
I would rather someone like Isaiah Pacheco over Travis Etienne.
Easily. That's easy for me.
Can
Yeah.
I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a 2-part question. Ready? First part question. Do you still stay with a player that you loved, okay? That you loved so much from one team now went to another team, do you switch your team because you love that player? He won for you last year. He made the game for you last year.
As a sports fan?
As a sports fan, do you go like, oh wow, now he went from the Chiefs to he went to, let's say, the Cowboys?
No,
so you still stay, even though they moved him, they drafted him out. Let's say, do you still stay with your team? Like, is that a hard question? Because I like you laugh and then.
No, I'm laughing at Rocco.
Oh, Rocco.
No, I mean, if you like your team, you like your team. You can't just like a player on the team.
Well, I mean, like if like growing up, I was a very big Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman. So it's like if Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith were gone from there to the Jets, I personally think that I would have went with them along as a fan of their work.
Emmitt Smith, his last couple of years played for the Arizona Cardinals. So were you rooting for the Cardinals at one point?
No, I'm just saying, I'm asking you. You're not asking me the question. Okay, that's part one.
What's part two?
Now, Travis. Do you like Travis? How do you say his name? Kelce. Travis Kelce. Do you think Travis Kelce, who won last year with the Kansas City Chiefs, do you think that Travis will bring it home again this year for Kansas City?
I think Kansas City Chiefs are probably like the early favorites to win the Super Bowl again. I definitely see it's possible that they win the Super Bowl again.
Because it used to be like the 49ers. They won like a bunch of years in a row. The Cowboys had their run of a bunch of years in a row. 2, 3, 4 years. The 49ers, how many did the 49ers
They won 4.
In a row?
No, not 4 in a row. They won 4 in like their
But
their
in
dynasty.
a small time frame.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember that.
Yeah.
But so my thing is like, do you feel like the Chiefs are going to come back this year strong like they did last year? Because they went 16 and nothing.
Well, they won 3 Super Bowls the last 4 years, and they're back-to-back champions. So yeah, and
the recipe's there.
Yeah.
Do you think because Kelce is strong, Travis Kelce is strong enough because he's still with Taylor Swift?
There's a lot of strong people in the NFL.
No, but
Mario.
he's with
Taylor Swift won them the Super Bowl?
I don't think Taylor Swift won him the Super Bowl. I think he won the Super Bowl. But I'm saying, do you feel? Because I have one more question after this. Do you feel that because she was there, she's his good luck rabbit, Taylor?
Like us. It's like you when you're around. The good luck charm. The NFL loves.
Do I look like a rabbit?
There's a bunch of singing. There was a bunch of girls that are now introduced to the sport. So
Yeah.
Of course, the NFL loves.
What do you think about women in football? Because
I don't think it's as common. Like they play flag football, but
no, I don't mean playing. I mean in the announcing
I love
and
it.
You like the women doing that.
Yeah, of course.
Like
it
it's a
adds
man.
a different element to the game. Like
To
we
me-
should all be on the same platform.
I say the same thing, but there's certain things like tennis, okay, golf, okay, but you're talking about a man's sport, a wooden type of man's sport, which is football. It's rugged, it's out there, it's snow. I don't know if I want to see some blonde lady giving me, team stuff from the field. I really want to hear it from some guy who has knowledge.
Yeah, but they definitely have the same knowledge, if not more. I get what you're saying.
You think they went to the
in
same?
In 2024, anybody.
I'm not putting women down. I'm not saying that they're not capable of it. I'm saying just to keep it a manly thing, just to be tight it's a
Being
man
that
thing.
it's such a man sport.
So someone says, "What's wrong with the volume?"
What do you mean the volume?
It's fine.
Oh, they're just breaking.
No, it's because Mario's probably far away from it.
You don't hear me?
Oh, okay.
It's because when I'm talking, I don't have the mic. In front of
Oh,
me.
okay. He doesn't have the mic.
Yeah.
Also, one more.
One more because we got a lot to cover still.
Okay. Who do you feel that is going to come in like that horse that's running dead last that takes off
Underdog?
an underdog that's just
Like a
gonna,
dark horse team.
That's a good question. I think the Texans could be a big underdog this year.
Right, but I mean they're kind of known right now, but they could definitely challenge, go to the conference championship for sure. They're a good team.
I kind of like the Cowboys too. Not that they're underdog, but and that's coming from a Giants fan.
right.
I think they do have an elite.
They're
defense.
cursed though. They're just
That's the
But can
problem.
they're just
They
cursed.
can't win any playoff games.
They're,
Why is it that these Giants and the Jets they can't get their game together? Coaches, get
Starts
these.
at the top.
Yeah, it starts at the top. first of all, you should have good plays. Not that the Chiefs had the best of luck, or is it whatever it is? You could use it luck, you could use moxie, whatever you want to call it.
It's called Patrick Mahomes, my man.
Patrick Mahomes, but you also have you have a good manager, you have a good coach, you have people that are rooting these people on. Every year, it's like those two horses that you're betting on for a long shot. Come on, Jets! Come on, Jets! And then all of a sudden, it's like Eddie Mush. Boom! They go down. They're out. You're like, oh wait a minute, Giants. They won last week. They're gone. What happened to the Jets? They were just right there, neck and neck. They're like two horses, neck and neck. They're down too. It's like New York. We're not some farm town. We're New York City. We should be past the playoffs every year.
New York sports have been rough.
But it's rough for us because we're New Yorkers. How can we root for our own home team?
We gotta be patient. La Pacienza. Ci vuole la pacienza.
For how long?
Especially now, ci vuole la pacienza. Right?
I mean, I wish all the teams the best of luck this year, and I hope to make a little scuttle.
Oh yeah, follow his picks. Follow his picks.
I'm gonna follow his. Well, Sal Iacono, Jimmy Kimmel's cousin Sal, who has a podcast called Against All Odds, and has a book out.
I love that. Yeah.
And he gives me some stuff, and I'm like, I don't even know which way to start. Like, how about I just send you the money? And he's
put in the pick for me?
He goes, I can't do that. That's not right, you know.
Yeah.
But I think Sal has. Do you know who Sal Iacono is?
Mario, I love you. We got a lot to cover. Idea. We still got a lot to cover.
You should check it out.
Okay. But thank you so much, Bello. You're the best.
Thanks, Mario.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, but as long as you let us continue over here. But you really want to listen to this? Yeah. We're talking about players right now.
Yeah, I want to learn.
I mean, just watch the show, no? All right, so this is a player that I wanted to talk about because I feel like a lot of people are very high on him this year, Rachaad White.
I like Rachaad White. They drafted Bucky Irving. He's a pretty good running back that's going to be behind Rachaad White. But Rachaad White, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they trust him to be their workhorse back.
Yeah.
Like I said, I always say this, but he's very good with the ball in his hands. They call a lot of screenplays for him. They design plays for him. He's on the field for the red zone carries, the goal line carries. I like Rachaad White. I think he's a pretty safe pick. He's a safe pick. And like I said, the Buccaneers gave him a long leash. He's going to be on the field a lot.
Okay.
He's their workhorse back. They trust him.
All right, now let's go over to a different position, and then we're gonna do talking about drafting from a spot, and then we're gonna do the this or that player.
Okay.
Tight end position, fellow Italian who finished #1 overall in tight end last year.
Right.
Sam Laporta. What can we expect this year from the Italian stallion?
So Sam Laporta, I think he's a very very good tight end. He's from tight end U, right? Mm-hmm. Got drafted from the University of Iowa, where tight ends like Dallas Clark, Noah Fant, George Kittle, all came from, right? I think I'm missing someone else that's really good that came out of Iowa. Oh, and T.J. Hawkinson, obviously. So I knew as soon as he got drafted over there that he was going to be a good tight end. I'm not a big fan of where he's going right now in drafts. He's going
4th round, is it?
Like late 3rd or mid 3rd. I've seen too. I have a big problem with that. I don't feel like he's that much of a difference maker in fantasy wise for him to get picked over there. I'd rather just draft like a high ceiling wide receiver over Sam Laporta. That's not saying I don't think Sam Laporta is a good player. I think Sam Laporta is an amazing player. He's probably like one of the best, if not the best tight end in the NFL right now. He could block, and he could also obviously catch touchdowns, get a lot of receiving yards, yards after the catch as well. He's very fast. I don't even have him currently as my #1 tight end as well. I would rather still draft Travis Kelce over Sam Laporta. Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of like which one you prefer. I think Travis Kelce is safer to get the reception. So in a PPR league, I would rather have Travis Kelce. And Travis Kelce is going to be getting those red zone targets. He's still Patrick Mahomes, like #1 guy. There's no one else going to be getting those targets except Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
But
it's amazing seeing last year. I remember my draft specifically. One of my friends took him with the very last pick.
Sam Laporta. Yeah, he was going late.
And then it's amazing seeing this is why fantasy football is amazing, right? You got some of the best players, Kyron Williams, was undrafted for most leagues.
Yeah.
And you got Sam Laporta, last pick in my draft. And then that year, he's the tight end 1. So seeing an Italian do it, or Italian American, I should say, always adds that extra passion.
I love Sam Laporta.
You love to see the Italians win.
When you when you saw, I think it was International Week or something from the NFL. I think
the Italian flag on his helmet.
Yeah, I think I saw the Saints were playing the Lions one game, and I saw Anzalone had the Italian flag on him. Sam Laporta had it. So it's nice to see for sure.
I love that.
Yeah. But yeah,
Big Dom on the Eagles. Remember the?
Yeah. He got.
What did he do last year?
I think he got into an altercation. Yeah, with one of the players from the 49. I think it was Debo. Might have been Debo Sam. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it was an altercation. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So another tight end. You kind of mentioned him, and you said that you would draft him over him.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
The reason I want to talk about him is because on the sports books, he's only projected like a 950 yards.
Yeah.
So for a tight end, 1 especially, like, you're comfortable with that?
Yeah, that's how much yards the tight ends usually get. Like, they're not going to be it's very rare a tight end breaks 1,000 yards, like
even in a 17-game season now?
Well, that's the thing now, right? So Travis Kelce would have broke 1,000 yards last year if he played the last game of the season, but because the Chiefs locked up their spot on the where they were in the playoffs, they rested their players the last week of the season. I think all he needed was 16 yards to get 1,000 yards last year. So he was going to break that 1,000-yard threshold again.
Which you don't have to worry about in fantasy purposes because you're probably in your playoffs
exactly.
at that point. So.
But I'm just saying, but yeah, I think Travis Kelce, I think he's going to break 1,000 yards this year. I really do. I think he's going to be breaking that 1,000-yard threshold again. He was injured a lot last year. He was hobbled a lot.
Yeah.
If he gets better injury luck, I definitely feel like he could. I definitely feel like we could get 1,000 yards from him. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about Jake Ferguson this year?
Jake Ferguson gets a lot of red zone targets. That's why I like him. I feel like he's like their number 2 guy when they get to the red zone. It's obviously
one being CD.
That one being CD, of course. So yes, I like Jake Ferguson a lot, especially in standard leagues. Like if you're in a standard league where receptions don't matter as much, Jake Ferguson's a great pick at tight end. Yeah, I like Jake Ferguson for sure.
Okay, and then another guy, which for me, there's definitely question marks given his health last year, but I believe he's the 3rd or 4th ranked tight end this year on the Ravens. Mark Andrews.
So here's the thing. Zay Flowers, even when Mark Andrews was on the field, Zay Flowers was still getting like a above 20% target share. So Mark Andrews' target share is not going to be as high as it used to be. But I think Mark Andrews is still like, a pretty good pick. We just got to make sure that, he's healthy, but all signs point to him being healthy this year. And I definitely feel like Mark Andrews could be a good pick for sure.
Is this the Mark Andrews of 2 years ago, was he? Or
no, I wouldn't say so.
Scale down a little bit.
Scale it down a little bit. But honestly, it would not surprise me if he breaks 1,000 yards. But
gotta stay healthy.
But he's got to stay healthy, right?
And then.
Hey, Mario.
No, I'm serious. Instead of breast-fed chicken.
Yes. I think that's perfect for a nice protein. So this tight end, I have like an asterisk because I want this tight end on my team so bad.
Right.
I have 2 actually, but this is 1A for me.
Okay.
Not even close. Evan Ingram,
yeah.
On the Jaguars.
I like Evan Ingram a lot. So the Jaguars signed 2. Well, they drafted 1 field stretcher in Thomas, who's 6'5", and they signed Gabe Davis, who's another field stretcher. However, they got 2 receivers that are going to be there for their intermediate and short range.
Christian Kirk
and Evan Ingram. And Evan Ingram.
Robinson's their X this year?
Yeah.
Like he's going to be the big man?
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to say is like Evan Ingram is going to be in like the middle of the field.
He should get a solid 6-7 targets.
There's a good possibility that he's going to be the second most targeted player on the team behind Christian Kirk. And I like Evan Ingram a lot. I really do. I think he's a great value from where he's going right now. And that's why I would not try to reach for like Sam Laporta early or George Kittle. I feel safer getting production from Evan Ingram later on in the draft.
Yeah. And then the other tight end that I personally love, you might not be as crazy as it about it, just because the team is stacked with talent.
Yeah.
But the red zone opportunities will be there. And for a tight end late in the draft, I think it's worth a flyer. Dalton Schultz.
No, I like Dalton Schultz. Yeah, it's a late round flyer. And like I said, like I've seen him getting drafted like round 13, in that round. So I think he's fine. Yeah. I think Dalton Schultz is fine for sure.
Have you drafted yet in any leagues or no?
I didn't. I've been doing a lot of mocks.
When's your draft?
I have one draft August 31st and then another one September 1st.
Nice.
Yeah, so
right
back to
before
back.
the season starts.
Yeah.
All right. So quarterbacks, I feel like I don't know if it's ever really worth talking about quarterbacks, honestly. But I do want to start getting into the draft pick strategies.
Yeah.
So we did a post earlier last week where it was 5 most common draft pick strategies.
Okay.
Which draft pick strategy are you most fond of and why?
I like drafting. I'm a big believer in drafting, my wide receivers early. Wide receivers, I always say this, like, it's very rare you find an elite wide receiver on the waiver wire. You find a lot of elite running backs by the end of the year on the waiver wire. Mm-hmm. Another thing why I like wide receivers more is because they don't get injured as much as the running backs do. And yeah, that's the thing with me. Like, I feel like the wide receivers are safer picks, and you're not going to find an elite wide receiver on the waiver wire. So I like drafting wide receiver heavy the first 5 rounds. Like, if I could draft 4 wide receivers, those first 5 picks, I'm happy. Mm-hmm. And if I get 1 running back out of those 5 rounds, okay, so be it. Yeah. But I feel comfortable enough to have like a running back by committee for that second running back spot, and I just wait on the waiver wire to see what injury happens, and then I could pick up a running back that's starter valuable.
So are you a best available player or best position of need player?
Best available. I'm definitely best available. That's like one of the misconceptions people do. Like, they draft towards
what they need,
empty roster spots. No, I draft towards who's the best player available.
Yeah. So what would you say to somebody that has 3 like RB1/2s on their team, but terrible receivers? How do you?
I would say if you're really stuck in that predicament, try to look for high upside wide receivers. I'm pretty sure George Pickens, Terry McLaurin might still be there, so try to draft them, or even T. Higgins, because you started with 3 running backs. And if you're really, really, really in a tough spot, I would say try to get like the best available tight end. So this way you have one difference maker against all the other teams. And then long term, I would wait for those running backs to reach one of those 3 running backs to have a ceiling game where, let's say, like they would have like 180 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then ship them up to Boston, right?
Sell
like
high,
they say, sell high.
That's gonna be a great segment on our show. Buy low, sell high.
Ship them up to Boston.
Start them, sit them. Yeah. Ship them up
then
to
we
Boston.
and then we get closed down for breaking copyrights.
Yeah. So Mario, this is a comment for you. So happy to see Mario back. Love him, but oof, he does not know anything about sports.
No, I do not know.
But he has admitted to that, so
yeah, that's fine.
Absolutely, I have no shame. I'm not. But I think that my thing is this: would you root for a team that's not up in front, like I like to say like a team like the Jaguars? I don't see them being like.
Yeah, I love a nice underdog story.
An underdog, right?
Yeah.
I mean.
And it's also fun to bet on the underdog because it'll pay the most dividends.
Yeah.
But you also lose the most money that way. But Carmine, question for you.
See.
In a keeper league, should I take CD Lamb in the second, worth a second round pick?
Okay.
Or Laporta worth a 5th or 14th round pick?
Okay. How much this is a keeper again?
Yeah.
This is a keeper, but he got CDs.
There's not too much credentials here, like what they have.
This is a keeper. This is a keeper league, though, right? They didn't say how much plays you're allowed to keep.
Yeah, they didn't say, but they got Goff in the 11th round too.
Oh man, that's tough. I really think. Here's the thing: I don't really value the tight ends that much.
Yeah, I would take CD.
I would keep CD. I would keep
for
CD.
a second round pick, bro. Yeah. Probably the guy
CD
who
Lamb.
One
Here's the thing. Here's the thing for that guy. I feel like CD Lamb has a valuable argument to go first overall, right? There's people that are drafting him over Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
So I would probably go CD Lamb. It's a second round pick, yes, but like it's just a tight end.
You can't be mad at that.
Yeah,
though.
it's just a tight end. Yeah. Try to get Dalton Kincaid. Try to get Kyle Pitts. Try to get Evan Ingram. Try to get David Njoku. Whatever. No problem.
Right.
You lose Sam Laporta.
Marco Puzzo, who's your first pick? Carmine and I both agreed it will be Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
For me, it's a no-brainer. So my personal draft strategy would be for anybody drafting this year. It definitely depends on your spot or your pick in the order. If you're at the end of the draft, more like 9, 10, 11, 12, I think you stack a great receiver and a great running back and then go heavy receiver after that. I feel like you can't go wrong with having one RB1, one wide receiver, one in the draft, and then at the rest of the way, you worry about running back much later on. That's a draft strategy that I definitely can see you being successful because you could always pick up a running back if the RB1 gets hurt, you claim somebody on waivers. It's much easier to get a great running back as opposed to a great receiver.
Way easier.
So
not even close.
That's something that I learned very it was a tough learning moment for me because it cost me like 2 or 3 years of fantasy football.
Yeah.
Just because years prior, this wasn't the actual case. Another thing is if you like a player but feel like you're reaching, again, it depends what round. But I feel like after the 5th round, anything's fair game. You know what I mean? Just because you see a guy's going, ADP is, let's say, 10 to 15 picks ahead of where you have him, I would still take him. You want to draft the team you like, not draft a team that you don't like just because the ADP value is there.
Well, to piggyback on what Rocco's saying too, right? If you're absolutely certain that player is not going to be there when you pick again,
take him.
Then take him.
Yeah,
if you really feel that strong on him, right? Because right now I feel pretty strong on George Pickens, right? So his ADP might be 8 picks before than where he's going. But if you know for certain that you're going to be picking now in like 17 picks, you know he's not going to be back there. So draft him if you feel that strong on him. Who cares? Because at the end of the day, you know what's the truth, and you know that he's going to have a good season. So do what you got to do.
Also, I'm a big upside kind of player this year. You can go safe, but that's not going to win you your fantasy league. That's always going to cap you to what your team can be, meaning you're going to have those weeks where, okay, you do barely scringe out a win just because you picked a player that's going to consistently give you 8 to 10 points. Okay, good, that's solid, but you want those guys that have the capability of going for 100 receiving yards, going for a touchdown or two just because they're on a great offense and his offensive capability. So go for the upside picks because that is what's going to win you weeks. Again, they could also drop a dud some weeks, but I feel like with risk comes reward. So that's one thing that I'm preferring this year. So as we move into our next thing, if anybody has any fantasy draft questions, feel free to let us know. The kicker and defense position should always be one of your last picks. Don't sweat that position till the end of the draft. And honestly, just go with the picks that you've watched them play. You've seen the buzz preseason. And, you see suitable for your team. Don't go out on a limb and just take a risk on something that you're not really knowledgeable in because it could wind up hurting your team a lot. You want to say something?
Yes,
Just a funny question.
It's a funny question. So, do you root, both of you, Carmine and Rocco,
Yeah.
do you root for a player that you know is Italian and you want to see because we're Italian and like I'll give you one player who happens to be a friend of grown-up Italian, Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah.
Okay, what is would you bet on him? Would you see your future for him? Do you see him growing in his career on the field as far as going from whatever side play? I don't know what his play is, but do you see him advancing to a future like?
I personally, I was rooting for Tommy DeVito a lot last year, because it was nice to see,
Another Italian.
Yes,
player.
exactly. The Italians, we do have quite a few, notable quarterbacks, Dan Marino, Joe Montana, Jimmy Garoppolo. We had a couple, Vinny Testaverde, a couple notable quarterbacks. And I like to see Tommy DeVito do good. That game, I felt like the Giants were playing had a new energy to them last year when Tommy DeVito was their starter for that month. Especially when they beat the Green Bay Packers at home on Monday Night Football. They just had the stadium had a different energy when he was there as their quarterback, and I feel like they had a sense of belief. And I was really rooting for Tommy DeVito for sure. Yeah.
Do you feel like this year he'll come back? Is he coming back?
I mean, he's currently the backup. Yeah, he's currently the backup. I don't think Daniel Jones is good at all. I definitely see Tommy DeVito possibly getting a couple of spot starts, and who knows what could happen. I don't see him being the future quarterback of the Giants. But I do see a team, maybe they do take a chance on him, but I don't see him as a franchise quarterback, no. But I'm a big fan of his.
I'm a fan of his work too, and I liked him last year. But here's the thing: if they beat that team last year with him as
well, football's a team sport, right? The defense for the Giants.
But why wouldn't they bring him back up there this year and keep him at that level? First you know, what was he? What did he play? Quarterback.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they keep him this year if they beat last year because of him?
Well, there's a lot of it's more than just the quarterback for the team, and it's the organization, and they just paid their quarterback millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So it's hard to really bench a quarterback who's making $30+ million a year. You know what I mean?
And it's probably
it's a financial thing.
Yeah.
I hope so. You could only hope. You know, as Italian Americans, you want to see the best for him. I know you met him; he's a great kid.
He's a nice kid.
You just only hope for the best, and you want to support them. So I think that's a great job that Italian Americans do as a whole. Is we always support when somebody's on the way up.
Yep.
So I do hope for the best for Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, me too. I like him.
Michael, to answer your question, I'm sorry, not Michael. Matt, he traded Najee Harris and Jerry Jeudy for Chris Olave. I think that's a great.
Oh my God, yes, that's a steal.
I don't think you should even think twice. That was amazing value for that trade. So we're gonna do into.
I guess he banked on the Jaylen Warren news that he was out.
Yeah.
But now he might play the first week. They said too.
Yeah, I mean, I see no problem with that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do flash. I'm gonna give you a player. You tell me who would you rather have. Right.
Okay.
This is the part that I was
okay, good.
waiting to do.
And then you'll have like the pictures up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So we have DK Metcalf or Calvin Ridley.
DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf or Michael Pittman.
Michael Pittman.
Michael Pittman or Chris Olave.
Are we going value wise, or we're going like who's gonna have a better year?
Who's gonna have a better year?
Okay, who's gonna have a better year? Probably Chris Olave.
Chris Olave or Malik Neighbors.
Chris Olave.
Chris Olave or Deebo Samuel.
Chris Olave.
Chris Olave or George Pickens.
That's like a push for me, man. But Chris Olave, I'll keep him just to be safe. Yeah.
Chris Olave or Devontae Smith.
Chris Olave.
Chris Olave or Mike Evans.
Chris Olave.
Wow. Okay. Chris. Well, that's not really that much of a shocker.
Yeah.
Chris Olave or Devontae Adams.
Chris Olave.
Over Devontae.
Yeah, I don't like Devontae this year.
Okay. Chris Olave or Cooper Kupp.
Chris Olave.
Chris Olave. Wow. Okay. Chris Olave or Nico Collins.
Chris Olave.
Yeah. Damn. You're actually much higher than I thought.
Yeah.
On Chris Olave. All right. Chris Olave or Brandon Ayuk.
Chris Olave.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, okay. Chris Olave or Drake London.
Chris Olave.
Oh my God. Chris Olave or Marvin Harrison.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay. And that's where it draws the line with Chris Olave.
Yeah.
So, bro, believe it or not, you have him at like a mid-second, early second round pick.
No, I have him as mid to late second. Yeah.
Yeah, but like above all those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Drake London's right around that range.
Yep.
But Olave's ranked 21. Drake London's ranked 10, and you had him over him.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's cool seeing that. I agree. I kind of agree with you on most of those picks. All right, let's jump over to running back.
Okay.
That was fun.
That was funny.
I
wouldn't let him go.
You wouldn't let him go, for real. Josh Jacobs or Alvin Kamara?
Okay, 1 second. Let me just wipe my face while I get this. Start it over. Okay. Go ahead. Start it again.
Josh Jacobs or Alvin Kamara?
All right. With the new news and stuff, Josh Jacobs, yeah.
Josh Jacobs or Joe Mixon?
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs or David Montgomery?
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs or Rashad White?
Josh Jacobs.
Over Rashad White?
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs or Devon A-Chain?
That's tough. That's really down the line for me right now. Josh Jacobs.
Wow, over A-Chain.
Yep.
Oh, so, bro, you're not 3-4 picks ahead. This is much ahead. Yo, it's tough picking your brain, but I like it. Josh Jacobs or Kenneth Walker?
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs or James Cook?
Josh Jacobs.
Over Cook?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Josh Jacobs or ETN?
Josh Jacobs.
Yo, this is crazy. Are you cliff farming right now?
Bro, AJ Dillon's not there, man. I'm telling you, bro. His value's up the roof right now, bro. Go
Josh
ahead.
Jacobs or Jahmyr Gibbs?
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay, I was like, if you go there, then you're talking crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Jahmyr Gibbs or Derrick Henry?
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs or Kyron Williams?
I really don't. Not really a believer in Kyron Williams, so I'll probably say Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs or Saquon Barkley?
Saquon.
All right, that's where we draw the line with Gibbs.
Yeah,
all right,
that's where we draw the line with Gibbs.
That's agreeable. Now we're gonna do quarterbacks.
Okay,
I kind of like this, bro. That's
yeah.
fun.
You want me? I'll go slow too, so like you have time to like change the pictures.
Order. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
You sure?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
All right, let's start with Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
Jaden Daniels or Matthew Stafford?
Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Now this is standard quarterback.
Yeah, standard quarterback. Jaden Daniels or Tua?
Daniels.
Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams?
Daniels.
Jaden Daniels or Jordan Love?
Daniels.
Jaden Daniels or Joe Burrow?
So this is a standard league. They're literally right. This is like 1A and 1B for me. This is tough. I would say Daniels.
Jaden Daniels?
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels or Dak Prescott?
Daniels.
Jaden Daniels or CJ Stroud?
CJ Stroud.
Okay, that's where you draw the line with
Yeah.
Daniels.
Yeah.
No more than that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going then. CJ Stroud or Kyler Murray?
Stroud.
CJ Stroud or Anthony Richardson?
I just trust Stroud more. I like CJ Stroud more.
Me too.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud or Lamar Jackson?
Lamar.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. That's where you draw the line. With that.
Yeah.
And the rest we already know. Mahomes.
The order. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was funny.
Yeah.
All right, we got tight end. That's the last.
Okay,
one.
go ahead.
Bro, I'm actually having fun.
Yeah,
listening
this
to
is good.
where you rank these guys.
Yeah.
Because this guy like slowly climbs. It's funny. All right, let's start with David Njoku
Okay.
or Pat Fryermuth. Let me do that again.
Woo!
David Njoku or Pat Fryermuth.
Okay. I like David Njoku.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like Deshaun Watson's going to smarten up and target him more this year for sure.
David Njoku or Dallas Goedert.
David Njoku.
Njoku or Bowers.
I'd go David Njoku.
Okay.
Yeah.
Njoku or Ingram.
Ingram.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Ingram or Ferguson.
Ingram by very little bit, and I just feel like he's going to be getting targeted more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ingram or Kittle.
I guess Kittle, but I'm not going to draft Kittle in any of my leagues.
Yeah.
It's just
I don't really love that one.
Yeah.
But
it's
I
like
get why you say it.
Yeah, like I'm not drafting Kittle in any of my leagues. I feel like his value is the way where he's getting drafted.
Tight end 7 right now.
Yeah, no, it's like getting a little too high for me.
Yeah.
I prefer Ingram. I'm drafting Ingram more than Kittle, but Kittle should have a better statistical year.
Okay. Kittle or Pitts.
I'm drafting Kyle Pitts over Kittle any day of the week. Yeah.
Pitts or Kincaid.
That's tough. Kincaid has potential to literally be the tight end 1 this year. I feel like he has the potential to finish ahead of every tight end in the NFL right now this year.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put Kincaid over Pitts, but very little bit.
Kincaid or Mark Andrews.
I draft Kincaid over Andrews.
Kincaid or Sam Laporta.
Sam Laporta, obviously. Yeah.
Sam Laporta or Kelsey.
I think I said before Kelsey, so Kelsey.
Kelsey or McBride.
Kelsey.
Okay, so Kelsey would be your tight
Yeah,
end 1 this
yeah.
year.
Kelsey's my tight end 1. Yeah.
All right, that wraps up episode 2 of Crunching the Numbers. But before we go, I promised you guys in the beginning I was going to give you a lock.
Yeah.
Carmine, I don't know if he has a lock, and I don't want to force a play here for him. So no pressure.
Can I give them
Any boxing coming up?
So here's the thing. So now there's this boxer, right? I want you to like clip this too because I'm gonna be like his big.
Yeah.
So there's a boxer called Naoya Inoue, right? He fights in Japan. He's gonna be fighting September 5th, I believe, on Tuesday. Now we're not betting this fight. I just want you guys what
Thursday.
So it's September 4th. Thursday. Yeah, he's fine. So we're not gonna be betting this fight. I just want you guys to look at the fight because he's minus 4,000 this fight. So we're not.
Yeah.
But I just want you guys to see the fight, right? Right now he's at 122 pounds. He's the undisputed champion in that weight class. He was undisputed champion at 118 pounds as well. And he needs to finish this division before he makes another move up. So he probably has 1 or 2 more fights in this division. He's probably going to fight Goodman after this fight. But when he goes to 126 pounds, he should be getting better odds because obviously when you go up in weight class, Vegas is going to, shift the odds a little bit to see how he does in that new weight class.
Mm-hmm.
When we go up to that weight class, I'm going to tell you guys to bet heavy on Naoya Inoue. So just for now, I just want you guys to know, just look at him. He's like my favorite boxer out right now. And yeah, he's like a very special talent. I think he's like probably like one of the best.
Remember the name for future?
Yes, remember the name because when he fights again and his odds aren't as crazy, I'm going to tell you guys to bet him. I bet him when he fought Stephen Fulton. At that time, he was minus 270. That was his first fight when he was at 122 pounds. And he wiped Stephen Fulton out. And he's a Japanese fighter. Massive, massive knockout power. But that's not all he does. He's great defensively. And yeah, I'm just one guy to look out for.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
And so my bet's not till week 1 of football season. and it's Devontae Adams to score against the Chargers. So Devontae Adams to get a touchdown. Here's the backstory. Chargers are talking smack, saying Devontae Adams is washed. Meanwhile, every game he played them last year, he had like over 100 reception yards. So if you want to play a little safer, go for the yardage total. Whatever the line is, go for the over. If not, I'm going to go touchdown on this one. I'll make it an official play the night before just so you guys can see that. But, yeah, I think that's going to be a lock play for me.
Chargers have been talking a lot of smack, even with no, that was the Raiders, actually. The Raiders was talking smack to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I literally have that written down, too.
AFC, a lot of
I cannot wait till they play because I have a hammer of a bet.
Yeah, a lot of AFC West teams are not really getting along with each other right now, right?
Bro, but that players remember those things.
Yeah.
So when they play those teams that talk smack about them, they want the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So who knows? Anything can happen, but that's my lock play, official play of the episode, I guess, because by the time that comes out, who knows what's going to happen. But listen, Carmine, always a pleasure, my man.
Yep.
Hope you guys enjoyed in episode 2 of Crunching the Numbers. We're going to be back giving you some waiver wire picks when the season starts. So we'll definitely be back for another episode.
I'll help you for Daily Fantasy, too.
Daily Fantasy is going to be a segment you will see on the page for sure. It's not going to be podcast format, but it will be selfie video mode. And he'll be giving you the best picks then as well. So a lot of exciting things to come. Hopefully we give you some valuable intel on how to draft this year, how to have a successful draft. And for those who stuck around the whole way, appreciate you all. Any questions in the future of the episodes, feel free to write them in, and we'll be gladly responding to any and all of them. So Carmine, thanks again, my man. Till next time, good luck to all of you this fantasy season, and we will be back.
Next week.
Beautiful, brother.